Truth Seeker and or its affiliates are not responsible for any strange phenomena that may occur during or after listening to this podcast, which may include the following: heightened senses of awareness, psychic abilities, UFO sightings, alien contact, time loss, out-of-body experiences, ringing in the ears, ESP, lucid dreaming, increased synchronicities, astral projection, telepathy, stronger intuition, levitation, miraculous healings, and or remote viewing. Please be advised to listen at your own discretion.
Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? To a place to walk on troubled seas, faith to stand when I don't believe. I just wanna be with you. Won't you come and take me away? I just wanna be with you. Won't you come?
You are now locked into the Truth Seeker podcast.
Gargoyles, psychics, everything's ungodly. Dark savage.
Streaming live at truthseeker.com.
She's not a Christian.
Give it up, y'all.
Your portal to the paranormal, esoteric, and all things spiritual.
She's tampering in dark-sided stuff.
And now, your host, Truth Seeker.
Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Truth Seeker. This is the Truth Seeker podcast. We're going to hang out today. We're going to have a beautiful discussion, talk about all things spiritual. You heard the disclaimer. Speaking of disclaimers, I guess I can go into a little rant before we get started here. I recently did an interview with Mark Moore from the band Christafari. It's a Christian reggae band, and he's kind of a legend in his own making in the Christian industry and gospel music. Pretty big name. They've been around for a long time doing gospel music, and they've traveled the world doing it, really. Had him on the show. The conversation shifted to be about marijuana legalization. Should we legalize it, and my take on it and his take, and he kind of gave you his take of what he thought the Bible says about it, and God hates it, and it's evil, and it's demonic, it's the devil's lettuce, the devil put it here, those type of things. So anyway, the show shifted to be about that and given his experiences, and then I kind of, I didn't debate him. I just let him share his story, and then at the end, I kind of gave my little rebuttal and said, hey, it is what it is. People project. People have their own personal experiences and encounters, and we project knowingly and unknowingly. So I think we need to be consciously aware of that when we're triggered and stuff like that. So shared my little truth on that, my little spiel. And then he eventually shared the episode out on his Facebook wall, but it said, check it out. This is an interview I did with a controversial host on a controversial topic. He said, skip the intro. He said, I start talking about the marijuana at 20 minutes. Skip the intro and skip his closing remarks. It's like he shared the interview, but he said, don't listen to the host. Just listen to me. And I thought that was really rude, man. But it's funny, though, because that's his not disclosure. He kind of gave his discretion. And that's kind of what I do at the intro of this show. I've had a lot of Christians on the show in the past, man, and they have to preface it. Hey, this guy, he likes mushrooms. He the witch or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They have to like prepare their audience and still feel okay with sharing the content out because they want to get their side across. But then again, I've had other people who don't want it. They've done an interview with me and we were supposed to cross promo and they just refuse to share it. They're like, nah, I can't do that because what will happen? The church folks will cut your head off. Like, if, you know what I'm saying? So it's always been with the Christians, man. It's like they have to give a disclaimer when they share out a podcast that we've done together. Now, I've been putting up with that for years. I kind of know the song and dance behind that. But it's funny, man, but it is rude. So for the Christians listening, my intro is the disclaimer. Some people say, yeah, you probably should have a disclaimer. The intro says, heightened senses of awareness, ESP, intuition, out of body experiences, all of these things. This is kind of stuff that we talk about. So if it's up to you if you're sticking around after that disclaimer. So, I've had different people on, people I'm really close with, Seven, some of his fan base. He's hit me up and had heart-to-heart conversations with me because we've done the interview. But I think a lot of people come on and do the interviews and stuff without even knowing who I am or what I stand for. Or maybe sometimes it's hard to kind of pinpoint what I stand for, because I stand for a lot of different things and it's pretty eclectic. It's not really something that's in a box. You can't say, okay, he's a Christian, or okay, he's a Gnostic. So you go look up what's a Gnostic and what they believe. It's not really that simple. I don't think it's that simple for any of us. I think we're a little bit of everything just kind of brought together. There's pieces of truths within every religion, every holy book, every sacred science, man. Every teacher has a piece of something. I don't think that there's one place that we can go to and say, that's what I am. I'm a mystic. I mean, there's things that we kind of lean more towards because of the character traits that go along with it and the belief systems and structures. But to pinpoint who we are and say that's it in a nutshell, in a box, I think that's why you're here. We all kind of gravitate together, and there's so many people who are like-minded individuals on the internet, and we kind of find our tribe. Like we say, your vibe attracts your tribe, and we find people who look like us, talk like us, act like us, you know what I'm saying? And we walk together for encouragement and to see the fruit in the life of these people and what they're bringing to the table, regardless of your faith, regardless of your religious tradition. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today with my guest, Aaron Fowler. I'm going to bring him in a second. First, I have to thank everybody who has been supporting my work over at Patreon. This show would not exist without your help. So thank you from the bottom of my heart with an attitude of gratitude. I really am appreciative of your support. So everybody supporting over there, thank you guys for supporting this month. Give a shout out to some of the latest supporters that we have right now. Call you guys out by name. Let's see here. Ruben Rojas, thank you for coming on for the support. Matthew Flynn, welcome to the family. Let's see who else we got. It's not in order. I have to go. Robert Guzmini. I know I butchered that name. I always do. Reno, Jeremy Bartz, Rise. I know there was one more. There was a girl here that I seen a while ago, but now I don't see it. Well, I know it's over here in chat. Emery Esplenda. I don't know. I'm sorry. I butcher these names. But thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for all the support. If you want to support, you get perks. You can go to patreon.com/truthseeker. Get access to my entire discography. That alone, like 10 plus albums of everything we're talking about in the disclaimer, in the show. All of that stuff is weaved throughout my music in that medium. So check that out. 10 plus albums. You also get interviews and articles, and you get access to our Thursday night group sessions, which is the School of the Mystics, which is the beautiful part of the community about what we're building. Those of you guys who just want to listen to the podcast and end it there, that's cool. But those of you guys who are wanting to build community, you want to share your story, you need somebody to talk to, Thursday nights is when we do that, and you get access to that by supporting for as little as $1. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Without further ado, my guest, I was on his show a couple weeks ago, and really good conversation with this brother and sister as well. So Aaron Fowler, welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well. Doing great.
Good to have you here, man.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're going to talk about spirituality. We're going to talk about your story, shamanism. You look like a shaman. Native.
I look native. I'm actually not Native American. I mean, I'm Native American. I was born in America, so in that aspect. But yeah, I'm confused for that. When I have short hair, I'm confused for Polynesian. I'm actually, my mom's half black, so that's where I get the color from.
Oh wow, good stuff, man. Yeah, you definitely look more native than I am, and I am native. That's awesome. Native with a beard. That's awesome. Yeah, man. Spirituality, your story, bro. You're a shaman, a healer. I think maybe you can talk about what I just mentioned about the boxes and saying, okay, this is the title. This is what I'm okay with you calling me. This is what I'm going to operate under the role of. What does that mean to you, man, as far as being a healer, being a shaman? What labels we accept, what labels we call ourselves, or what labels and terms we answer to, man?
Well, I mean, I hear a lot about, no labels. We shouldn't label things. Well, if there wasn't a label on poison, you wouldn't know it was poison. So labels are important. However, I feel like, spiritually and just for our own personal growth, even if we're atheists, and we don't believe in a certain and don't really have that, connection or feel that higher source, right? Um, I think it's mainly just being open to everything, being open to being, if you have a belief system, it should be challenged. I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like to be a shaman or be any kind of spiritual, teacher or healer or practitioner. I feel like you need to be open. At least I do to new things. To more of a universalist. More of because we have one planet here, right? But we have all kinds of other planets, and there's many other beings, other places that believe in something different, possibly, more than likely. And from what I've seen and through my experience throughout my life, I was kind of just thrown into it. This was kind of a destined thing as I look back on it. So yeah, labels. I think being able to kind of, if your belief system's challenged, look deeper within yourself. Look deeper into whatever's challenging your belief system. Usually, what happens 9 times out of 10 is your belief system isn't being torn down; it's being added to. You're getting more information to
That's
connect
good.
more dots to what you believe, what your faith is in the first place.
Yeah, that's good, man. Like I got accused of that a lot coming out of Christianity and the church and stuff. I said, "True Seeker, you're confusing people. You're confusing people." And I got that a lot. But at the end of the day, like there's a scripture that says God is not the author of confusion. So people will take that and say, I'm confused. This isn't of God. But I like to look at it and say that confusion's a really good thing, because until you find yourself in a state of confusion, you're not going to ask the answer, the questions to get the answers. You're okay with whatever they told me is truth. You're okay with whatever goes. But when you're in a state of confusion, that's when you start digging. That's when you start reading. That's when you start using Google to look up beliefs and references and proving what you believe. And so I'm with you. I think that that we need to break down our belief systems and prove why we believe something. I love to play, the devil's advocate, in a good way, and say, look, why do you believe that? Almost trolling yourself, man. You have to be able to to break this stuff down and to explain it and hope that it has some type of practicality to it, that it's practical, that we can apply it to our lives and help other people around us. Other than that, it's just theories. And I think that theories and truths are two different things. So, the scripture says to examine yourself to see if you're in the faith. Examine yourself to make sure that you're walking what you're talking. You're going out here telling these people this and doing that, but you're not doing it yourself. Examine yourself. So I think that questioning our beliefs or having other people questioning them, but there's still, even for me, man, like I wish I was past it. I still get that weird feeling when people lash out. You know what I'm saying? You get those 100 beautiful comments from people, and then another comments, oh, you're a fake, blah, 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 you this, you that, you that. And when they challenge you or ridicule you or whatever, that one negative comment, we've heard people talk about this time and time again, that one negative comment or that one challenge, it still makes you feel a certain type of way. There's a lot of people who stay away from the public or the YouTube comments because of that.
Right. And I feel, there's sometimes I have to delete comments, but they're just plain nasty, and they're just coming from a place that's not even, there's no logic involved. It's just basically you're spitting something at me that you have a problem with that has nothing to do with me. Right. But I may have triggered you in something I said. Good. Glad I triggered you, because that makes you think about things. And if whether you agree with me or not, it sparks something inside of you, just like art does. We're both artists, and we know that's what we want to do. That's that dichotomy of push and pull, good and bad. That is necessary, I feel. I think some of the best stuff I've created has been kind of part that dark and that light. So I think it's being more open to being, open to the dark, and understanding it better, because it's not all evil.
Yeah.
And I think right now, especially with all the stuff going on, the religious, people that are more religious and really one-sided about things, which is kind of funny because you can't be really one-sided about the Bible because it's got multiple meanings, right?
Yeah.
And I see a lot of it coming, especially from the Christians. And that's probably because we live in America and that's, the prevalent religion. But I do see that. I see it more as I watch people and what they say. It's more about their fear. It's more, I feel like it's more about, it's coming from a fearful place. But that's also, if you're getting to that point where you're kind of starting to judge others, you are raising up, but you got to burst through that threshold, right? You got to get through that to a place of, I don't want to say non-judgment, because we have to make judgments in our life every day. So, but just in a place where you can be with everybody and allow them to have their belief. If they're not hurting others and they're happy with it, you're not, nobody gets to say my way is the right way. They can say it, but it's not ever going to happen.
I know, right? That's the whole thing. That's the whole platform that Christianity stands on, is that we are the only way. All other ways are a lie. They're a sham. They're a farce. And you come to find out that that's not true. Like, okay, there is some things in there that I believe are the only way. I think that, talk about Jesus, we talk about love, man. Love made manifest, or the scripture says God is love. I really think that's the only way. Like, I really do. I think that love made manifest and all of us being love or being like Christ and that Christ consciousness, that's the only way. It really is. So I will go with that. But as far as like my doctrines, my belief system, this is the way, this is the only truth and all that kind of stuff, that's all up for debate for each particular person and how it applies to them, how they understand it, how they grasp it. And it's been so watered down and changed over the years, man, that what we have in America resembles nothing, looks nothing like biblical Christianity at all. Right.
I ask people sometimes, if Jesus were to return, would you recognize him or would you shoo him away and ignore him?
Yeah.
Because that's what I feel like. And a lot of times I feel like, Jesus was coming from a place of, he didn't have a home. He was welcomed into others' homes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when he finally just did his pilgrimage and started walking and doing his thing, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot, that's where that judgment can get you, that old uber judgment or over judgment of, hey, you're not aligning with me, so you're bad. Or you're not right. Now Jesus, from my understanding, Jesus was love. Jesus preached love. He talked love. He talked about, being unconditional, but he also stood up for things that weren't right.
Yeah.
And he was a fighter in many ways. And I don't completely believe from the stuff that I've looked into that Jesus was like, didn't ever tie one on or didn't ever have some fun. I really don't, because you have, that's that higher vibration, having fun, joking around, messing with each other, being irreverent sometimes, and I feel like in my heart, that's my, Jesus to me is, I believe he lived, yes, but more of an archetype and somebody to look up to, as far as, more of an inspiration and somebody that I can try to model my life after. But I feel like there's others in many other religions that have similar, I can model my life after them too. I can take a little piece from here, can take a piece from here, and I just keep learning, and we hopefully never stop learning.
Right. I mean, if you're learning from all the masters, if you're learning from all the awesome people who's been in your life and had something to offer or contribute, or even all the mess ups, we always like to learn from the good in people. Like, man, he's doing this. Me and you, we're going back and forth like, hey, what's working for you? Hey, I got this YouTube plugin or Facebook plugin. It helps you share, and then you're adding all this stuff. What's working. but you can look at other people's stuff and see what's not working. Okay, this dude keeps doing this. It's not working. Don't do that. He's good. He's doing this. He's not reaching anybody. Nobody cares. Whatever the case is, that's on, the level of what we're doing. It works across the board on every level. So when we bring it into our lives, we look at spiritual principles. I really believe that's alchemy. I really believe it's learning from all the things that you've been through, but we have to transcend that. We could just, if that's the expression, we're just going to be focused on ourselves. We have to be able to look at other people, because everyone is an extension of ourselves. So we'll be able to look at other people's lives and see where they're messing up and use it as an example. Don't do that. Don't go down that path, man. Don't go down that road. And learning from everyone and everything. I wanted to, so you mentioned if Jesus came back, would we recognize him? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people in other different denominations, white people, man. If Jesus came back and he was a black man, like, they would be appalled. Like, they wouldn't recognize him, right? They probably wouldn't accept him. So, okay, he was black, okay, whatever, and accept him. Like, a lot of people, they're just, no, that's not my savior. Not a black man. You know what I'm saying? The very person that I don't like, or vice versa. I know Hebrew Israelites, black guys who hate white people. Let's break it down. But there was a video, and I've heard this as a story for years, but I just finally seen a video yesterday of this pastor. I think it was in Nigeria or something. And he wears like 3-piece suits and Armani and all these, like, it's really weird to be like in a third world country and wearing all of these things and driving Rolls Royce when everybody's riding donkeys and stuff still, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, he's a pastor, and he went to his church, but he dressed up like a homeless man. He dressed up like a beggar, had a thing on his head. He's laying outside with a sign at the church, and nobody helped him. Nobody gave him any money, nothing to eat, nothing to drink, or even talk to him. They just walked past him and went to their service. And so the pastor, dressed as the homeless man, goes into the church and tries to make his way up to the pulpit, and they all grabbing him, fighting him, and wrestling him back and stuff. And finally, he gets up there and grabs the mic, and then they hear a familiar voice, their pastor, talking to him, looking like a homeless man. And he kind of rebuked him and said, if I came in a 3-piece suit and looking like I always do, you guys would have accepted me. I come in here looking like a homeless person, and you guys, you know what I'm saying, turn your back to me. I've been a part of churches and ministries and stuff in the past that catered to homeless people. Like, they went out because they knew homeless people were hungry.
Right.
Like, literally hungry, but hungry for truth, hungry for some substance, man, and they catered to homeless people. And when homeless people would go in other churches, like really nice $top churches, they'd shoo them away. Or sometimes they would say, hey, go to that church on the corner, that other little hole in the wall church. They'll take you in, because they knew that the church I was involved with at the time cared about the homeless, and these other churches would kick them out and say, find this other church down the road. It's probably better for you to go there. It's like crazy, man, And I agree, man. We wouldn't recognize them because,
Yeah, I feel like it, and that's the thing. I feel like, right, it's gotten so far, or it's been around so long, right? Organized religion, that, people are using it for, and that's okay. I feel like if they get, donations for what they're doing, I feel like that they should. But Armani suits, driving around in Mercedes Benz, 2018, 2019, this year's model, trying to look, for lack of a better term, and sounding old, trying to look all fly. That's. I feel like that is just kind of what's the word? It's basically, that is kind of blasphemy to me.
Yeah, materialism, man. Consumerism, yeah.
Yeah. But there are a lot of churches out there that do really look out for people that need it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of churches out there that go and get the needy so they can bring them into their church and gain followers. So, I feel like it's you got to look at each individual situation different. That's being open. You can't just be against Muslims because, a sect of Muslims went off and did something crazy, and you can't be against other sects or, of religion, or, basically racist, any of that stuff. Be open to it all. I mean, in the state I live in, it's predominantly white, and this is nothing against white people. I'm 3/4 white, so I can say it. No, anyway, but anyway, I'm around a lot of people that they're not used to. There's like one or two black people in the city, or
wow,
in the town, and I mean, there's probably more than that, but
yeah,
they just kind of look at you differently. They don't. They're either pretend like you're not there, or kind of walk farther away.
Yeah,
I was in the gas station yesterday, and my sister used to bring this up all the time. She's like, "How come every time I go to Walmart, there's always calling a security check on the aisle that I'm in?"
Yeah.
I mean, like yesterday, I'm like in the gas station just looking for, some munchies. This woman comes right up to me. I mean, she's like right in our space, thinking I'm going to steal from her. I'm like, I come here every day, pretty much. I don't ever steal from you, but it's just that unease. And it comes from fear. It comes from fear and insecurity. And it always has throughout our lives. We've both dealt with it. Even, white people will deal with it too, from the other side, from the other side.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of our biggest problems. We can't learn to come together and accept each other for who they are and not judge them, on their color of their skin, for hell's sake. Still at this day and age, we're still like, it's still there, I don't know where I went with that, but I'm digressing anyway.
No, it's good, man, because like out of all the spiritual, I want to get into some deep stuff with you, experiences and stuff like that, but all of that really, to me, doesn't mean anything if this conversation doesn't happen first. Like, this is the practical side of trying to be a good person. You know what I'm saying? Of walking in white magic and alchemy and doing good unto others and not doing it for selfish gain, man. And to be a good person. Like, I don't care what you have to say if you're not doing these things we're talking about, or if you're racist, or if you're this, you're that, you're prejudiced. You can tell. Somebody doesn't have to come out and say it. Like, if you're hanging around somebody for a certain period of time, you're going to partake of the fruit of their labor, of who they really are. It's going to come out, and so it comes out more than just on a podcast or snippets. You get to know that person, Hey, Aaron, do me a favor. Your audio kind of got low. Leave right quick and come right back and reconnect, and hopefully that'll pick it up. Yeah. And everybody listening, everybody watching, if you guys haven't seen the little documentary that I did called what it was Persona, the documentary Persona that I did, make sure y'all go check that out. I'm gonna ask Aaron about it here in a second, because he commented on it. And talking about triggering, there was some things that was in there that maybe were designed to trigger, but it was just some information that was coming to me that I felt led to put out in there, and definitely playing the devil's advocate when it comes to channeling, channeling spirits. And well, really, it was some things that came to me just within the research, but going to the root of a lot of that stuff and seeing where it came from. I covered the word ventriloquist, and like, that's what the word familiar spirits comes from the word python, which was what the Greeks would call themselves, ventriloquists, when they would let spirits inhabit their body. So I put a lot of that stuff in the little documentary that I did, but I already knew that it was gonna rub some people the wrong way. I was on a psychic or channeling show, and Aaron,
is that better?
Better, yeah.
Nice.
I was talking about that the little documentary that I put out. You got a chance to watch that, right? The Persona.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Well, talking about people being triggered and having like when you bring up information that's contrary to what they believe, right? Or cognitive dissonance, playing the devil's advocate. And it's not to attack it, but there were some things that I addressed in that little video. It's like a 20-minute video about channeling, and going back to some of the things, like, what if the stuff you're channeling is already within you, and the the entity, the angel that I'm channeling is almost like a scapegoat to really say,
yes,
to really
that,
say what I want to say.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. That's the trust you have to have. You know, I mean, I feel like even some of the people that are faking it, and I know this from, I think a lot of it, you know, we are to some extent puppets on our own strings, on our higher self strings. So some of that stuff comes out. If you're doing things in the wrong, if you're blaming others, or, you know, this is who said, and yes, you can use that. Well, the demons made me do it, right? And that shit drives me crazy, right? Because I'm like, yes, there are lower level entities. They can mess with you, but let's not blame everything for that. It's kind of like we do in this world, like, right? Oh, well, he's got ADD. Well, she's got, you know, this disorder. You know, instead of just saying, hey, maybe they just need to be disciplined and put in the corner for a minute and time out, right? So they wake up a little bit. And that's how I feel about it. There are. I mean, when I channel, I do, and it's not as much channeling as it is kind of talking to my own super consciousness, right? Or the super consciousness it's utilizing the Christ consciousness in a way that I can gain information from, say, your higher self, and, you know, basically validation is what it is. And a lot of times now, and it is a big responsibility. You know, you can, and I've seen people do it. You know, this is, you know, I'm channeling this person, and then, you know, come on. You know, I saw this one, she was channeling, and a guy's voice was coming out. And I'm like, see, that's what happens. You screw things up for people that are really doing something and trying to do something good. And you're trying to just, you know, you're faking it, and you're not faking it very well. You know, somebody sent me a video of this, and I'm like, no, that is not real. That's a guy's voice. She's like dubbed it over. You can see her like lip sync, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you could use spirits as a scapegoat. I mean, that was a good discussion.
If you believe it, it becomes real to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even if the people faking it, maybe in their mind, they're trying to really do it. Like, I've got a friend, and he watches this, and he believes that he communes with the Joker's cards from the Insane Clown Posse. That the Wraith of Shangri-La and the Great Malenko are all personifications that have come to him in the middle of the night to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? In his experience and in his mind, I don't believe it. I don't believe that happened, but in his mind, it happened, and he believes it. You know what I'm saying? He's going to live his life accordingly. And the same way, there's kids out there, like young people who are trying to get into channeling, and they're like nonchalantly like, oh yeah, I hung out with Anubis last night. Yeah, Anubis hung out. He came in my room, and me and Anubis, you know, he gave me information about the secrets of the universe. And like some of it, it's like, I don't, you know, it gets kind of iffy, but
well, and that's it. I mean, but that is really, how do I explain this? Okay, so in the higher dimensions, right, in the other dimensions, other than the human dimension, which they're all connected, at least from the way I'm seeing it. I'm not going to give it a name. I don't like giving it the fourth and fifth because I don't know exactly, right? But the higher dimensions, our imagination creates reality. So have you ever seen that movie, What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like that. So that creates that reality. But there is part of that is destined, I feel, my opinion, from what I've seen. Part of that is destined. So that's what I'm picking up. And what I'm getting the destined part, and here's the best course of action. Now, I'm not going to get it completely right. You know, I'm not, but I will say I do get it mostly right, just from my experience. And I have a history, and I have some backing from people that I've talked to, or people that will testify, you know, that this is real. I mean, I sometimes need it too. You know, I'll be like, God, you know, I don't know if I'm doing too well right now. And then I'll get somebody say, hey, you said this on this time, this date, you know, within a couple of days. And it happened pretty much almost exactly as you know, so, or as you said. So basically what I'm saying is, yes, we do create part of what we're saying and what we're thinking. That's where it kind of gets dicey, because yes, you can take it another way, but you know, if you're faking and if you're not. If you're letting it flow, it's like when you write a song, or if you've ever been able to just you flow when you flow over something, right? It comes out and you're like, wow, it just came out. The same thing. That's channeling. You're channeling that music as well, and everybody does it, whatever profession they're doing it in. I'm just doing it in the way I'm doing it to help others.
Yeah.
And yes, help myself as well. But I'm not driving around a Mercedes. I'll tell you that right now. I'm wearing Gators.
Yeah, it's just weird to think about where it comes from. To play the devil's advocate, we like we said at the beginning, like we have to question our beliefs and say, what the hell am I doing? Am I really getting messages from the Arcturians? Are they on another planet? Are they in a ship? You know what I'm saying? And I believe in it though. You know what I'm saying? I believe in that stuff. But there's people who have a lot more. I think my belief and my experiences have made me a skeptic, man, because I've had so many encounters, dude, and I've been in the spirit realm and I've done the rituals and I've had visitations, bro. And it's still so slippery. I can't pinpoint and say they're these angels or they're obviously angels and demons. Those are archetypes essentially as well. I mean, but to say like this is what it is and this is who's coming, even with the Jesus thing, you know what I'm saying? I opened up on Philip J. Watt's podcast and said, look, like the whole Jesus thing at the end of the day, it works, man. Like it's working for people, right? Like, but we don't know that Jesus existed. Like we can't prove that he did. Now there's theories and stuff like that, but what we know, but we know that archetype of like the scapegoat archetype works, of being able to be forgiven of all your wrongdoings and being liberated and set free and getting a clean slate, pushing the reset button. I mean, what are psilocybin mushrooms? What is ayahuasca? It's a reset button to clean the slate. And religion, when you confess your sins to God and you get it off of you, it's a reset button. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that works. We can't put our finger on it about the doctrines and who was right and what color was he, and all of this stuff is debatable and up in the air, but we know that there is what we would say fruit from it, or there's something from it that's working and helping people. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask
it real simple. It's a flow. It's a flow of energy. We're all in that flow of energy. We're part of it. And it flows differently, minute by minute, second by second, year by year, and it's all a cycle. It's cycles we go through. And yes, all these, what I was trying to say earlier, and I got somewhere else, was, what we create, like basically, if he believes in those Joker cards and he connects to he's connecting to a certain spirit or connected, to a certain entity. That's his key. That's his, that's his way to get in touch or to feel more connected. And that's good. But yeah, there are people out there that, you start seeing them put on the whole show, and that's okay. Just come at me and let me know that they're, it's partly theater, right? And being live, I mean, really being live and doing shows like this, you have to, you want to have that online presence. You want to have that on camera presence, I think it helps and it relates to people. But yeah, I feel like everybody's allowed to feel how they want to feel. But what are you doing to others, or how are you affecting others by what you're doing, right? If you're just holding on to one thing like the Arcturians and that's your stick, okay, but I think it's really just come down to, we are connecting to more than just Jesus and more than just Buddha and more than, but these guys, I feel, were connecting to those higher sources as well.
Yeah, exactly, man. So I labeled this show, shamanism, modern day shamanism. And so people want to know, because there's people who have no idea what it is. What is shamanism, man? What does it mean to you, the word shamanism?
Well, to me, shamanism means, utilizing that flow, being aware of that flow of energy, and not really manipulating it, but kind of understanding where it's going. It's like I throw my goal out, right? These goals that I want to do, and throw them out there, write them down. That's basically putting them out into the ether. That's asking, right? So then that flow starts going to move in that. It's going to move in that way. But here again, if you're not open to new things or challenge belief systems or learning new things that you've never learned before, you're not going to flow. you're not going to flow in that direction probably as fast. You're going to be kind of stuck. So I feel like being a shaman is basically, yeah, it is magic in a sense that you want to call it. Just kind of what's the word? Basically manifestation and using it for healing, using that energy for healing. You know, and I use the internet. I use being online. I use technology. And that's why I'm not that, you know, everyday, the average shaman that we know, which grew up in a tribe or was trained for years. You know, I mean, my training pretty much came from my life and studying, and I did a lot of study on shamanism. But that's not the type of shaman I am. You know, I'm basically able to integrate my psychic awareness and abilities with the shamanism, and that's basically what I'm doing. I'm using it with the spoken word to help heal others, and with energy, you know, long distance energy healings. That's basically it, and being open to you know, a lot of the spirit walks as well. I think those are just as important for a shaman, is to be able to walk through, you know, the cosmos or wherever we want to go, and be able to experience new things, to bring that back to more of a mass, you know, to more of the people that, you know, most people wouldn't dare go.
Or we're talking about modern day shamanism as well, because I think everything's morphing, everything's changing, everything's combining. We're creating new things as they're combining. We have the internet, we have the ancient path mixed with modern day technology, and if you're trying to just go one or the other, I think it's unbalanced, especially with shamanism or spiritual healing. I think it's a balance of it all, of looking at the ancient path of the earth. You know what I'm saying? To be tied in on the internet, but sometimes we got to unplug and we got to go out, man.
Yeah.
We got to get in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? We got to put our feet on
Balance.
the ground and balance it out. So I think with like being a modern shaman, man, is to really return to the ancient path and bring it into the now, right?
Yeah.
I think that even like with shamanism, we're able to go into the spirit realm, travel the ethers, and pull things out, whether it's a dream, whether it's a career, whether it's healing, whether it's, like you're saying, getting information about someone that can help someone, you joining with them energetically and going into that hypnotic state. And there's many ways to get there, but be able to bring out that energy and you know, to help and better humanity, right? If you're using it for light, if you're doing white magic essentially, which I think is the way. I think Jesus was a white magician, if you want to call it that. Someone who uses his abilities to the betterment of mankind and to help people. So as far as like spiritual encounters, man, I love to talk about that and to see what other people have seen. So let me ask you this. So what kind of got you into what you're into now as far as shamanism, healing, spirituality? I know you've had to have experienced some dark stuff. I think most people who are well-rounded have been through a lot of crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying, in their childhood. What was the earliest memories, man? Do you have any childhood experiences of anything supernatural or demonic or paranormal or anything like that? I think that those encounters when we're young play into our lives of pointing us in the direction of what, like when we're doing this type of work, you know?
Right. Yeah, I used to have really, really vivid dreams, lucid dreams. And I used to have a dream. I used to dream that I'd wake up and I'd be in the middle of the street in my neighborhood, right? And I had this dream over and over again. And I'd go to my house and my neighbors were living there. So I had to like spend all this time. You know, that's kind of my first knowing lucid dreams and connecting that, right?
Yeah.
It came really easy to me then. I mean, I was like 3 or 4. So I had to spend all my time looking for my family, right? Which is kind of a nightmare. But I remember the colors being really vivid. I remember all these things just coming in really clear, kind of like being on mushrooms, right?
Yeah.
Or, you know, so I always kind of had that vision of things. And I always had that feeling that there was something else or that I came from something else. But I also had, I had like a Raggedy Andy kind of, it's like a guy, like John Wayne Gacy looking dude dressed as Raggedy Andy used to chase me like for like a year in my dreams. And I didn't know what that, but throughout my life, yeah, I've had other demonic presence or entities that I've dealt with. I've seen Archangel Gabriel before, and that was the only one that really materialized in human in the third dimension, or this,
Okay. That's
that was
awesome.
pretty cool, and it was very faint, but it was enough for me to see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a lot of experience, seen a lot of different things. I've even seen some of the Norse gods. I've seen through the astral projection and things like that. I've seen, and a lot of the things that I can't make sense of yet. That
Yeah,
I'm still,
I know, right? That's the thing we're talking about.
Yeah.
Trying to figure it out.
Right.
What's going
but
on?
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of it's from a young age. I had this ability, and we all do, and I will say that pretty much every show I do and every read, open read I do. But I was thrown into it in my 20s because I lost my job. This was like right around the time when things started to go to crap as far as I was in construction, and then that just fell off completely. So I ended up not having a job and having to pay my bills still. So my mother, she's a tarot reader. She sent me this site online, and she signed me up without my knowledge and said, all right, you're going to start getting calls. So here's your tarot cards. And I started doing it that way. And I was able to, I didn't know the tarot cards at the time, but I was able to see the tarot cards and read the story that it told me.
That's that's pretty much what I do.
That's intuitive reading. And that's how I've always been. I've looked at the meanings. My mom gave me a little cheat sheet to look at like certain little meanings if I didn't had a problem with it. If I couldn't remember. But it was pretty much the meanings and what I was seeing, they correlated, and that's another thing that kind of validated me. Hey, I'm connecting here. Right. But yeah, that's kind of how I got thrown into it more than anything.
That's what's up. So as far as like anything physically manifesting, you said the only time you was the angelic presence you seen?
Gabriel. Well, Gabriel. What I know is Gabriel. I mean, I saw white kind of toga looking thing. Yeah. Like a gold wreath, curly blonde hair, and eyes were like glowing, like shooting like LED lights out of them. I mean, that's the best way I can explain it. That's what I saw, and it kind of startled me at first because I was home alone, and I was, it was nighttime, and I just got done doing a bunch of readings, and I actually asked for it. Yeah. I asked for whatever presence was helping me at the time to show itself. And to me, it appeared, I mean, I can't prove that it was Gabriel, but that's what I saw. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I felt. That's who I felt it was.
That's what's up, man. There's something about it, about asking. I think that, I think asking as far as wanting to have an encounter, like I've had a lot of UFO and angelic encounters, and most of the time it's because I asked and I went out and stargazed and, made myself available to that. I think that whatever we're looking for, man, just like, maybe just like my friend who's talking to the Joker's cards, man, maybe it became real. I think that I do know the way the universe is designed, that whatever we're looking for, we're going to find it. And maybe it all exists. These different realities and dimensions that are here. Maybe if we believe them, they exist here, but maybe we can be the shaman and pull it into this experience. Maybe if somebody's sick, we go into the dimension where they're made whole, and we pull that person in, and we, send that energy forth, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if you believe in fairies and you give yourself enough time to wanting to see fairies, guess what? You can see fairies. You can learn how to do it. If you're wanting to learn Illuminati symbolism and find it in the media and find it on television and find it in your government state buildings, everywhere you go, you're going to see it. You're looking for 333 synchronicities, you're going to find them. Whatever you're looking for, your consciousness shifts and you bring it out, and that's what you find. And that's the way the universe is, man. So, like, having those encounters, wanting them. Do you want to see a UFO? Do you want to see an alien? Do you want to see the encounter? You want to meet the devil? Like, whatever, like the evil, the good, whatever you can imagine, you can create it. and then creating it, and then maybe the alchemical process of bringing it into the reality, man. Because we all have that. I think we all have those dreams within us that we've had even since we were little kids. I mean, what I'm doing right now is a part of my dream, and I created this, and it's awesome. You know what I'm saying? But I had to do spiritual work to create it, to see the vision, and then what I could do practically to go in and have these things that I can do to make this manifest. And there's practical things that we can do. There's things that we do by just keeping it in our memory or keep reminding ourselves of it. We just go into an astral session one time or something and have a vision of what we want to do, but then we forget about it. You know, in the scriptures, there's all these like guides to like write it down, make it plain, tie it around your neck. So you always be reminded when you see it. Draw a picture. You know, every time you see it, like the symbols in our lives, the crosses we hang on our walls. We look at the cross. What does it do? It reminds me of the work Christ done for me. We have all of these things that remind us of what we want to do and who we are, whether it's sacred geometry or symbols or whatever. But that act of going in there and creating it and bringing it out. Have you had any encounters with that? I know you do that as a shaman, so I'm sure you have. But
Yeah.
but when did it become real though? Like to what you're doing and you're manifesting it, and it's like, man, there's something to this, you know?
Well, because part of it isn't I'm manifesting it. Part of it is me getting myself in the right proper place and frequency. I feel to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like UFOs. I feel like those UFOs are not something we created, but what we did is we got ourselves in tune with seeing that fourth dimension. Because I do believe in some most aspects that's where they're at. They're traveling in that fourth dimension. But we're able to see that. We live in the fourth dimension. We actually live. I hate to put the numbers on it, but really we live in the fourth dimension and we see and experience on the third dimension. But we're actually up in the fourth dimension. Or whatever we're in a higher dimension than we're actually seeing most of. But if we can tune ourselves into those higher realms, yes, that's when we start seeing things like elementals or fairies or UFOs. It's really, like I said, I can't explain all of it. I can't tell you. I mean, it's a lot of it confuses me, and I'm still learning it. But that's what I've kind of come to is this physical experience. I mean, there was a time when I was really down, and there was a shooting star so close. I mean, that's all coincidences all your life, right? Over and over again.
Yeah.
That synchronicity that happened. There was a shooting star that almost felt like it was for me to see. Now that many others may have seen it and, got different feelings from it, been affected from it. But things like that, spirits messing with me. And we were in a house, we lived in a house that was like 140 years old. Oh my gosh. And the front light would turn on and off all the time. Like somebody was coming into the porch, dude. I mean, just these kind of things. But you have to be more in tune with it. Some people are not, they're trying so hard and they don't just let it go and tune in. Because when you're real rigid about it, like we talked about at the beginning, if you're not able to kind of step outside of your box, a lot of the times you're not going to see.
Yeah.
You're not going to see it. It's going to be there, but you'll completely let it pass you by. It's like chemtrails. I mean, how many people you still see that don't even pay attention to those?
Yeah.
Geoengineering, it's things like that.
Yeah.
You pay attention, look up every once in a while, and that by tuning in, you don't have to do anything special other than just ask for it.
Yeah. Somebody's saying here in the chat, this is Binary Watcher. Shout out to him. He says you never see a certain type of car until you buy that one, and then they're everywhere. Yeah. You're consciously aware. Now you see them everywhere. You're looking for them, and it's about shifting your consciousness, man, and doing it in a healthy way, looking for the good in all. Like I got friends who just look for the bad in everybody and everything. Yeah. Oh, and they just complaining. And I think I was there in religion somewhat, and trying to be combative and you're wrong, I'm right, ideal. And then now my consciousness has shifted. Though I look for the good in everything, even though the bad is there. It's right. just seeing the good doesn't mean the bad's not there. but it's like finding what we can work with. Like we can work with the good and help you find ways that the good can overcome the bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Focus on your qualities and stuff, and see the potential in someone, especially when we're really walking in shamanism or like Jesus essentially. You see the good in people that they don't see in themselves, and you have that eye, that trained eye, to see that. Not everybody can see that, and be able to work with people and call people out of depression. I mean, there's a story in the Bible where I think it's Elijah looking at the valley of dry bones, and there's two people looking at a valley with a bunch of dead soldiers on it, man. And God asked him, "What do you see?" He's like, "I just see a valley of dry bones." He's like, "No, I see an army, and we can speak to these dry bones that they'll come up and they'll live again." And that's a picture of us, man. We've all been in a place where we've been broken. Some people still may be there, but we can speak to them. We can speak to their spirit and ignite that light that's within them, that they can live again, man. You know what I'm saying? And just encourage them that the goals and dreams and visions aren't done away with. Like, you can walk in them, you can manifest it, and just speaking hope into people's lives, man, is really what it comes down to. And that's the most spiritual thing I think we can do, man. When it I mentioned it in the little documentary, and I've talked about it all the time, but we talk about spirits and elementals and demons and all of the bad stuff or whatever, but that stuff is thought forms, man, and ideas that aren't for your greater good. And they come into your life and you believe it, whether it's depression, whether it's being overweight, or however it gets in and gets a hold. You start telling yourself and you align with what this idea about yourself is. You start to believe it, you start to speak it, you start to tell others, and it becomes your identity. It's a false identity, but those spirits and demons and all that, it's strongholds, thoughts in the mind. And just through spiritual conversation, and be able to have a positive conversation with somebody, you have the ability to encourage someone and pull them out of that place of confusion, that place of darkness or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's the power, the spiritual power, just even behind our words, man, and conversation.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something I did want to touch on is shamanism, and also represented, I feel like going into that darkness to help pull people out. Now, of course, they've got to do their part.
Yeah.
All I can do is help you out, but you actually have to lift yourself up a little bit first and grab my hand, right, so to speak. And I think that's a lot of what I do. I talk to a lot of people with that depression, and it really is, it's like being down on themselves. And I'll be able to kind of flow through something, or flow with something, and talk to somebody and change that attitude. And in most cases, not in all cases, there's some that are very pessimistic and just negative, and they want to stay and live in that hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is important that we don't feed our demons. I think it's important that we don't feed them to get bigger, right? If we've got a demon of, whether that's anger or rage or drug addiction or, whatever it is, that we don't feed it. If it's something that's not aligning and doesn't feel good to us, and it's something we can stop, we can get rid of a lot of evil in our life right off the bat. But I feel like a lot of people aren't being accountable of that. They're not, they're blaming it, like you said, they're scapegoating it on something else.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at it and saying, okay, I'm doing this, I can stop this. And then that, a lot of that, the problems that come with it will be gone. And a lot of people aren't doing that enough, I feel.
Yeah, man, that's a game changer, bro. Cause like, and I'm speaking as a healer myself, we want to fix people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Especially if you've been in a place of darkness and now you're in light. You want everybody to experience that. They should. Like, that's a good thing. It's a noble cause, man, to want people to be where you are. I mean, we find that with Christianity and like religious people. I got the truth, man. I got to tell you, like, you got to listen to me. I have the answers to the universe, to your life, to your sorrow. I have the answer. And we feel that way, but obviously that's what the scriptures would call zeal without knowledge. You have that zeal,
Yeah.
but you don't know the knowledge on how to win people, how to articulate it, and how to apply it. You just, I got the answer. It's Jesus. Trust me, I got friends like that. I've been there. But the game changer, and this is, and I've always known it, but it's just becoming more and more apparent to me now, is that we want to heal people. We want people to find God or see the beauty in nature or whatever, the little things in life, and walk in that attitude of gratitude. But it was this book here. I read it on a podcast a couple weeks ago, but it's a book by Manly P. Hall. It's just called Magic, and it just goes between white and black magic. But at the very end, he talks about being happy, and that how happiness isn't promised to anyone. Like, it's not God's will to be happy. Like, by default, you're not happy. For me, in my mindset, was like, everybody should be happy. Everybody deserves, that's a key word, everybody deserves to have their dreams manifested. Everybody deserves to have a great marriage. Everybody deserves this. Everybody deserves, you don't deserve anything. That's grace that you get to have it, but hard work pays off. You deserve what you work for. The demons, the dark night of the soul, you open up doors, you deserve that to come into your life. Now you have to learn from it, why it's there, and to get rid of it, you have to do the work. Like, we want to call a shaman, and the shamans can help us, and maybe the shaman is a picture or archetype that I want to get rid of this, and it works as you doing the work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Definitely. But you have to do the work. If you want a successful marriage, you have to work at it. Successful relationship. If you want to be a great podcaster, and oh man, you just have this big following and blah blah blah, blah. And trust me, I get you can too. Work at it. Do the work. Happiness is earned, man. And freedom is earned. You have to pay for it. You have to work for it. So it takes away this notion of everybody deserves freedom or everybody deserves a perfect life. You deserve what you work for. If you want it bad enough, there's nothing anyone can tell you to stop you. There's nothing anyone can do to take that away from you. If you want it, you can do these principles we're talking about. You can go into the ethers and create it. If you want it, nobody's going to do the work for you. And we talk about this notion of the demons that are in our lives, especially coming out of Christianity. There's this big notion of anything that is bad is demonic. It's the devil. We can pray it away and cast it out. And I've been a part of that school and still am. It's a weird discernment battle that goes on. It's okay, what demons do we need to pray for and get out of your life and these type of things. But what demons are here to teach you? Like, you're asking for patience and wanting patience, and there's these situations and things set up in your life to teach you patience, to impart that to you that you have to learn on your own. I can't pray you out of that. Like, I can pray peace and help you and be there with comfort with you, and but you have to go through that. You can't skip ahead. This life it's testing, trials and tribulations, and you have to keep taking those tests until you pass it. So in Christianity, we start finding ourselves praying away the demons that Almighty God has graciously sent to us. These evil spirits, these demons, these states of confusion that we asked for or we need to get to the next level. Many people, they don't make it out of that because the drive to survive is not in them as deep as it is in others. But for those of you who want freedom and you're in that, you have to ask, right? You have to admit, you have to be open and vulnerable to want to get to the next level. But to act like it doesn't exist or to simply pray it away is not the answer. Have you had any encounters with that? Is this making any sense to you?
Well, from what I'm getting out of it, this is what's coming up for me. I remember hearing from somebody, I can't remember who said this, but really, if you want courage, you're going to be thrown in a situation that you're going to your courage is going to be shown. Like, this is okay. Here's a situation where you can see how much courage you have, and see that you have courage. if you want happiness, you're going to be thrown, you're going to be thrown certain things that are going to probably not make you so happy, but you learn to have that happiness throughout those things.
Yeah.
My ex-wife used to get so pissed off at me because why does nothing gets to you? Like nothing just really stresses you out. I'm like, that's why. It's out of my control right now. I can't pay this bill right now. So why should I freak out? Come on. You want me to get upset and freak out about it, but that's not doing me any good. That really is peace and happiness for me is being grateful for what you have, even if you have little.
Yep.
And that's always managed to kind of help me keep that peace and keep, I have my days, I have my moments like everybody else. I'm human, but I've always maintained a pretty calm and peaceful kind of way about me. It's just because I've never let too much of the small stuff get to me.
Yeah, man. With light workers, it could be a roller coaster ride. Talk a little bit about that. You talk about how, and you say it nonchalantly. I have good days and bad days. Even in the Bible, like we look at some of these people have done crazy miracles, like insane wonder-working miracles that defy the laws of physics, and just they've seen the beauty of God and the power in that, and they've done that, and then the next day they're depressed. They're giving up hope. I have friends like that. I've been there, and you're talking about, but when we're there to be able to find our peace and hold that peace, especially if you're a light worker, you're attracting those things. You're dealing with everyone else's BS, their baggage, and if there is this battle of good and evil, like the more good you do, the evil gets upset. You know what I'm saying? You become a target, and you can do these awesome. You could do awesome podcasts and webinars and help people and get them to the next phase in their life, and then the next day you feel like you on the brink of insanity. You know what I'm saying? Or you're just giving up all hope and losing everything. Talk about that, how to stay balanced. I mean, gratitude, I think, is definitely number one, right? We have to
with it. If you something you're like doing and you're pretty good at, if you have some downtime, it's that song. What's that song? When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. That's just the way it works. That you're going to have your ebbs and your flows. But it's, we've talked about this before. I think on my show is being consistent, staying consistent with it. Being able to right the ship. You're going to have storms. You're going to have big waves sometimes. They're going to make you sick or make you not feel so pleasant. It is a roller coaster ride. And I think that's, enjoying or understanding those times when you are down, maybe taking that time to learn and maybe ponder some of the things that can change that, or change some of the things that you feel are out of alignment in your life where you're feeling down. But really, I'm a musician. I've done it for half my life, played a lot of live shows. And for a while there, we were playing 4 days a week. And, half of those shows, I didn't feel like getting up and playing. I felt the other way. I wasn't excited about it, but, and I have some stage fright. I do have some, a little bit of stage fright. So, it was always like, oh God, I don't want to get up there and do this again. I don't want to get, then I get up there and I'd love it. Or sometimes it wouldn't go so well. But really, I think it's just being a professional and being, maintaining that balance throughout it, knowing that this experience may not be exactly what I wanted right at this time, but I'm here. Let's make the best of it,
And it's funny you used when you said roller coaster. I think that's a great analogy because I'm scared to death of roller coasters. Like some people get on roller coasters and freak out. No, let me out. I start hyperventilating. I may start praying. You know what I'm saying? And I get really terrified. But my wife and my daughter, they love it. They get on there. They enjoy the ride. It's not enjoyable for me. I'm thinking. I'm analyzing the situation. Okay, if this, like, trust me, I'm thinking of what if this falls? Can I survive the fall? Can I survive the fall? If this thing falls, will I survive? Like, it's not pleasurable for me. So everybody's, we're on the same ride, man. You're going through this thing, but we all react differently, man. And it's the ride. For some people, it's enjoyable. For some people, they freak out. But it's I have to learn. I'm gonna be okay. That could happen, and it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. Just think of the good things. I can see the negative stuff. Let me think of the good thing. Look, I'm here with my family. We're making memories. I'm still trying to fight that urge of analyzing the situation, walking in fear, you know?
Yeah. And that's sometimes that's why it's important to just let go and enjoy yourself, to quit thinking about it for a little while.
Oh,
you know, I think some people overuse that whole let go of the mind, and just the heart, because I feel like both of them are important. But sometimes you do need to just let it all go. When you feel that moment of stress and your anxiety, and you just, you know what, F it, let's do it. And that's always kind of gotten me past a lot of certain fears, when I've just gotten so scared or so anxious over it so much, and it's built up and built up and built up, and eventually I'm just like, you know what, I'm done. That's enough of it. If I'm done being afraid of it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not, it's not. I'm going to enjoy my present time right now, and that's tend to help me.
Yeah, man. And that's, what I'm saying, being mindful, being in the moment at all times, and that's part of how we achieve our goals and walk in healing and in that life we create for ourselves, man. But yeah, maybe that'll help me, dude, because like I have to apply it in that area too, because I get claustrophobic, on them rides and start freaking out. I remember we went to Disney, and we went on the Harry Potter ride, and I'm nervous getting on it, and we sit down. My wife sits in one, my daughter, then I sit down in one, and that strap comes down and locks me, and I'm trying to open it. I'm really like last second, I'm gonna jump off of this thing for real. I'm glad I couldn't open it because I was finna jump off of it.
We had a ride like that here called the Wild Mouse. That thing was like, it was meant to scare you like that, so to make you feel like you were gonna fall off the tracks.
Yeah,
like it go, and then it turned real sharp. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that was scared me. But yeah, I mean, in spite of my fear of them, it is exciting. This is the kind of something I can relate to my life. All of our lives is we have that kind of pumped up feeling, kind of that fear of, oh God, the energy's really going right now. I'm anxious, but you can transmute that energy into, if you can kind of break through that threshold again, right, of that fear, and say, you know what, I'm going to do it anyway. Now, of course, you need to be mindful. Yeah, don't jump off a 20-foot building or 30-foot building if you don't have anything there to catch you. You're going to hurt yourself. But I feel like some calculated risks, being maybe a roller coaster that has a good track record, hasn't injured anybody, but is scary, but it's worth going on. It's worth getting that blood pumping sometimes. That's life. That's life, right?
Yeah, man. And it's something I know I've got to get over personally. But I know, because we're talking about being triggered and trauma, you know what I'm saying? And these things coming through that. I was tortured by my brother when I was little, man. He would put us in little chests, and he would make us get in dresser drawers, lay down sideways and shut it, like where your sock drawer, I'd lay sideways and he'd shut it and leave us in there. And man, I just remember my heart racing, thinking I'm about to die, can't breathe, hyperventilating, like all that comes back when I get in a tight space, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for me. And it's a perfect example of trauma, man, of bad relationships and things that people have been through. And when they were teenagers or kids, and then into their adult lives, it still hinders them. I've passed up opportunities to go and do concerts and things like that because I don't want to fly, because I'm too scared that claustrophobia will kick in on a plane. That I've had people wanting to fly me out and stuff, and I'm like, I'm a bit too busy, and like, I'm not going. So, but now I have bigger opportunities coming, and I have to get over that. Yeah, I know, right? That's what I need. That's my plan. I'm gonna get something to help me. But I joke with everybody.
Find someone else to do a show. That'd be awesome, man.
I know, right? I know. I'll be missing that out. I joke with my family and friends and say, look, I'll be the one to get on that mug and run to the door and try to open the door on the plane while it's in the air. They're like, let's shoot you.
Well, and that is, getting on a plane is something where you have to let go. I mean, I get on there and I'm scared, but I enjoy flying. I think it's because I'm like, woohoo, let's do it. I mean, I have to psych myself up for it. I have to get in the mood for it, right? Just like anything else. It's like doing a reading, but different, maybe a little different. But yeah, and then I have to, get excited. This is going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy it. I mean, I've been on some plane rides that the turbulence feels like you're dropping out of the sky.
Wow.
But it's part of the ride, man. Enjoy it. It's getting you someplace. It's a new experience for you. And I know there's a lot of people that have fear of flying, but I've always enjoyed it. But I enjoy kind of that thrill of things. I'm not not one of these thrill junkies or anything, but I do enjoy a thrill. And I feel like that's kind of helped me fly in planes.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to get over that, man. Moving forward, can't but it's just a picture though. You know what I'm saying? Like when
Yeah.
we help people who they have other things that and it's the perfect word, triggered. You're triggered. Oh, you triggered me. You reminded me of something I didn't like about myself. You reminded me of someone who stole this from me. You know what I'm saying? Stole a part of me. And we have to find healing, man, or we're going to go through life being triggered.
Yep.
Men are dogs. Men are all cheaters. Men are this. Men are that. No, they're not. You know what I'm saying? Christians are this. Christians are judgmental. Christians are blah, 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 blah. I can't stand Christians. Think they're right.
Yeah.
Not all of them. You never met a cool Christian. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have these preconceived notions and these triggers, man. And I talk about it a lot. The Jesus thing comes up on a lot of, it's part of my life, man. But a lot of my interviews I do, and I'll mention Jesus. Some people do. When I say Jesus, they look like they bit a sour lemon. What? Jesus? Like, he ain't real. Like, he never existed. I'm like, oh, okay. Next question.
Yeah,
triggers,
I know the feeling, and I feel like there's good people everywhere. Most people are just like us. They just want simple things. They want to enjoy their life. Have a good time with their family or not. Whatever. They want to be happy. They want to just kind of live their lives. And I think there are those few. The squeakiest wheels are the ones that we're always hearing. So I feel like most people aren't like that. Most people aren't. They're not. They have a belief system in something or know that there's a greiter power.
That's like you're talking about the Muslims. The Muslims.
And you know what? I used to trigger atheists all the time because I give them questions that they didn't like. They didn't have an answer for, right?
Yeah.
Like they could give me. I'm like, that's the way it works, man. It's and there's a lot of science that's proving a lot of this stuff now. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Farsight Press, those remote viewers. He does a good job.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he does it in a way.
Courtney, right? Courtney Brown.
Yeah. I love watching him because he does it in a way that you could do it a lot easier than that, and you can get a lot more information. But he's doing it in a way that can prove it scientifically, and I think we need more people like that. I think we do need more people that can reach those more logical-minded or left brain type of people, and I think that's what's going on right now. I think a lot more of the left brainers are like, wow. Okay, there's something to this, or there's something to this. I think that's part of the whole awakening process. And I don't know, that's moving on.
Yeah, man. He's cool, dude. Like we almost worked together. He wanted me to do an astral travel song.
Oh yeah,
about astral travel and stuff. Yeah, so that was cool. We never did it because. Well, I'm sorry, not astral travel. Remote viewing, because that's what he does. So yeah,
it's the same thing, man. It's terminology. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. Like people think, oh, you need to leave your body. Well, you kind of do, but if you're paying attention to that, you'll see that. But if you're not really caring about leaving your body and you're caring more about the target you're looking at, you already left your body. I mean, you haven't really completely, but you are, multidimensional beings, that kind of thing. You've left part of you has kind of gone somewhere else to view a certain thing, and I feel like, and that's what I'm saying. He's very technical about that.
Yeah.
And I love that about him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's really good people. We talked about him a good bit on one of the remote viewing episode that we did, but yeah, man, anything that we didn't talk about that you want to touch on?
I think that's it, man. I've actually got to get going here pretty soon, but
okay.
I've enjoyed this. It's been awesome.
Me too, brother. Yeah, let's stay in touch. Let's do some more, man. This will go live in a few days, and I'll send it out for you to share and all that good stuff, man.
Yeah. And much success to you. Thanks for everybody for watching.
Yeah, man. Let people know how they can contact you, man. I know you're really active on Facebook and all your groups and stuff.
Contact me on Facebook at Aaron Fowler, Psychic Shaman on my page, business page, or you can go to psychicshaman333.com.
333. Good stuff.
Yeah, no, and I saw that the other day. There's somebody I did who was it? We did a interview with. Oh, Starry Ari, and she's Starry Ari 333. I'm like, man, I'm like lining up with all these 333 people. 333. So that's pretty funny. Yeah, synchronicity.
That's good
Right,
stuff.
guys. Well, I have to let you go, but thank you very much for having me. And yes, we'll do it again for sure.
All right, brother. Shalom. Peace.
Peace.
Aaron Fowler, ladies and gentlemen. Good brother. And if you guys haven't seen, go to his page, and if you scroll back through the videos, you'll be able to see the interview we did together. I think it's also on YouTube as well. I think the interview's on YouTube as well. Shout out to Tiger King. Just sent me a donation here on what is this called? It's, Super Chat. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. He said I left Patreon, but will still contribute from time to time. Thanks, man. Appreciate the donation. Sending it from New Zealand. Thank you. Yeah. Triggers. I think it's a healthy. I think we should be aware of what triggers us. Don't act like nothing triggers you, right? I mean, I think we need to get over ourselves. I think we need to learn, how to respond so we don't freak out. Like sometimes I still feel that weird anxiety when someone disagrees or they want to, call you names or whatever the case is. You still feel that there. I mean, maybe that's just natural. I mean, you want to get into a place where you become water and it just slides off of you and it doesn't bother you. But, words do hurt. Words have power, man. And for something that you believe in, and you're challenged on it, it can be rather intense. I've seen it in Christianity for years, and I have seen Christians just over doctrinal issues, them freak out. I mean, shouting matches, man, yelling and stuff over a disagreement about what a scripture means, or it's something that they've given their life to follow. Then here you come, bringing a different understanding, a different viewpoint. You're freaking them out. They don't, this cognitive dissonance kicks in. You're wrong. They're right. Blah, 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 this. And they get mad and storm out, and you don't hear from them for years. I've seen it with other people. I've been a part of it. But, glad that's behind me. I learned from that. That's what it is, man. People get triggered. People are sharing or out of their hurt and out of their guilt and things like that. The next time you get mad, don't flip out. Yeah, don't flip out. Question in the chat here. Who is that? That's Hunter Hughes. Said, ask him about tarot cards. He kind of talked about tarot cards a little bit, but he said he recently bought a deck, and you said you use them to talk to the Holy Spirit about your life. That's pretty cool, man. And I think I got a deck. So this isn't the regular tarot deck. This is a deck that I got. My introduction was essentially it's called the Tarot of the Most High. I've talked about this several times in the past, but this is a deck I got, and it's like it's modeled after biblical archetypes. We do a Wednesday night show on my friend Psychic Christy Lee's radio show, and where we do a lot more prayer and energy work and things like that on her show, and people are calling for readings and stuff, and a lot of times I'll pull a card, and I've kind of like what Aaron said, like I don't know tarot, I don't study it, I don't know, but I do know that these that my intuition is linked in with these cards. I think that when I'm able to pull them, I'm able to get things about the situation. Most of the time, I already have them. Anyway, I've been using these on readings, and I don't even have to tell you the card. Like I said, I think that would even be the scapegoat. Well, the card said you're going to die, I didn't say it or whatever, But anyway, just to be able to kind of formulate that throughout the conversation and using little things like this as tools, because that's what they are, just like meditation, prayer, yoga, anything like that. It's all tools, man, that we're able to use. But I posted that online, and I think I lost a bunch of my Christian friends when I posted that. I posted my a status saying I used tarot cards for the first time, and it was powerful, and it was. But wouldn't that be something if I couldn't post that because I was scared of what they thought about me? In the past, I couldn't. I think I even thought twice about posting that just because I knew it would come, and it came. Rightfully so. You got to do your own research. You can't let nobody do it for you. So, Hunter also says on here, he says the horrorcore group Twisted released their own rider weight deck that features pictures of different underground artists and other characters. That's the one I got. Oh wow. You got the Insane Clown Posse version. Are they on it? Because I know they split up. I don't know if the ICP is actually on there because they at odds, even though they created them essentially. But yeah, that's cool, man. You got to find what works for you and know who you are, know your worth, man. So with that being said, CTA, call to action. What do you do after here? If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button, click the notification button too to know when we go live. If you're listening to this after the fact and you want to support, the best way to support my work is through Patreon, man. That's what keeps me keeping on. That's what enables me to do what I'm doing. So if you want to go to patreon.com/TruthSeeker, the link is in all the description. And you can sign up for any level of giving there and get access to my entire discography. You also get access to the School of the Mystics. It's the community aspect of what we're building here. So make sure y'all check that out if you're looking to take it to the next level, to learn together with a group of people and grow together. Also, too, there's a bunch of books that I recommend, audiobooks. You can get a free trial, download a free book at audibletrial.com/TruthSeeker. audibletrial.com/TruthSeeker. If you haven't read The Alchemist, go there and get that book. If you haven't read The Final Quest, go get that book. Those are the two books that I really find myself recommending a lot. I read a lot of ancient texts these days, a lot of Manly P. Hall too, but as far as any other books like that, those are the two. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho and The Final Quest by Rick Joyner. One of those two, whatever calls to you first. Go to audibletrial.com/TruthSeeker. Sign up, and it helps the show. They give us a kickback for every person who signs up with an account there, and it doesn't cost you anything. You can sign up and then get your free book and then cancel. It doesn't cost you anything. So make sure y'all do that to support that and Patreon and however else you want to support the show. I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot. I couldn't do this alone. I really couldn't. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Dylan says, do you know anything about CE5? I know a lot about CE5. We held our own CE5 initiative 2 months ago for the new moon, and it was good. It's like a global thing that we did where we just put the information out there and created a Facebook event, did some YouTube videos on it, and everybody went out together. I went live and did the little prayer meditation to call in the entities, the angels, the ships, whatever terminology you prefer, the demons, some of you would say. Call in the angelic beings, and a lot of people had encounters, man. It was beautiful. People had encounters for the first time that night. So I seen some ships, and it was awesome because it had been so long since I've been out there. So I was able to go out there and have an encounter. And CE5 initiative is the contact of the fourth kind. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. The new one is 5. Fourth kind is when you're abducted or they come and get you. Fifth kind is when you actually contact them. Go out there, meditate, say the prayer, get yourself into a place of connectivity. A lot of ways that can happen. A lot of people specialize in that. James Gilliland, Stephen Greer, and so I've just kind of copied what they've done, and that's what I did early on to have all of my beautiful encounters that I had through angelic contact or ET, UFO contact. I don't care. Whatever. So, Dylan, man, I'm here to stay. LOL. I do it with my friends. We do it. We all do it. That's what's up, man. Yeah, we do too. We've done it in the past. I've had a lot more private visions and sightings and stuff than I've had with groups, but we have had group encounters that were phenomenal. But as far as like what got me into it was a place of just going out doing it by myself for hours on end. And then all my friends have done it. We've went out in groups, camping trips, just finding a patch of night sky, going out and just stare at it until something moves, almost like you're fishing, but in the sky, as above, so below. So, yep, with that being said, I'm going to say peace and shalom. Thank you guys for the work. If you haven't heard my new album, I said thank you guys for the work. If you haven't checked out my latest work, Seer, make sure y'all check that out. New album. It's on everything. iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, all that good stuff. So support the real, man. Thank you guys for everything you're doing too. If you need anything, let me know, man. I'm here for you guys. Shalom, shalom. That outro at.
Your way so much higher than mine, so much higher than mine, so much deeper than mine, so much deeper than mine.
Well, that does it for this episode, folks. To hear more episodes of the Truth Seeker podcast, head over to truthseeker.com. And if you're wanting to support the show and get rewards, go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/truthseeker.